Got a grill on it. Got it cleaned up a little bit. Looking good. All right, what is up, YouTube people? I am going to try to commit to doing a video every 2 weeks from going forward, as long as there are developments or updates or stuff to talk about. So let's get into what we've been doing. All right, so we last left off, I did some interior upgrades here in the riser and the button array bracket there. We have a charge port for our phone, as well as 2 switches that will do stuff I will point out later. We also have a cage, somewhat test fit. It's not bolted in yet, of course, but it fits all right. It fits all right. It's not meant to go around the dash, so it kind of just ends, right there. I would prefer it to go further down and then walk around, but it's meant to fit with full interior, so I'll take what I can get. And you might have also noticed we got some wires in the car. This is all the body loom, and of course that, coming from the firewall, is the engine loom. We'll go take a look at that in a bit. But, point of order here is we need some custom brackets for the seat mounting, because as it is currently, my head is right about here, and it's too close. So we're lowering the seat and rocking it back by the use of Cobros brackets. So I'm just making a custom bracket to bolt these two. And that is where the 3D scanner, which I don't even know if I showed you that yet, but yeah, that's where the 3D scanner comes in. I 3D scanned the whole area with the seat in there, and then got a scan of the seat and kind of put them together so I know where the seat was, and I modified it to know where I actually want the seat, because I don't want my shoulders to move backwards and forwards. I just want the seat to move down and rock back. So getting all that bracketry set right, it has been a process. I'm still working on it. It has fallen by the wayside as I got the wiring done. And up here, we're going to figure out a mounting situation for our power hub and main pass-through and stuff like that. So we'll go over that in a separate video probably. But just things are moving along. I need to get the dash bar painted. I need to get the cage painted and mounted. But yeah, let's go into the engine bay now. I'm not trying to bounce around super rapidly. Sorry, I'm so used to shooting short form stuff that I gotta go, bang, bang, bang to each one. We'll try to slow down a little bit. I'm trying to get you all caught up as to what's gone on and what's going on currently. But, engine bay. First, I'll point out, the Euro grill, the brand new Euro grill that I just got. This is from Latvia, funnily enough. And I have a modified hood catch now. So that's to pop it. And then there you go. Let me get this on the pin and I'll talk about it some more. Quick rundown. I just basically cut the main pole thing super short, put a little handle, doodad on it, and then took the rod out from the bottom and cut the spring down, because I was already having trouble closing it because that is occurring. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's bending in right there, which is no bueno, which caused you to have to really put weight on it to close it to get it to actually click. But now we've shortened this by that much, so it comes down, lays on it, and you just click it in. So pretty good. But wiring. Yes, I know this looks horrendous, but there's a method to my madness here. And yes, I know the intake is gone. That is currently in the UK getting worked on. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But wiring loom for the Haltech stuff, I've redone the entire thing. The old one's sitting over there. It was fine. It just needed some more work than I wanted to do. So we're just starting fresh, using it as a template, and being very organized with what goes where and how. So this has very, very small chance of not working. But yeah, I'm not going to go through everything currently. It's going to come out. It's going to be divided into 4 separate 12-pin plugs for the engine loom, and then anything for the body, that is headlights, fan, turn signals, are all going to come through a separate non-ECU routed plug. So the body and the engine harnesses are going to be entirely separate until it hits the actual PDM or ECU. Actually, no. The ECU is powering only the engine, and then the PDM is powering only the body, aside from the big four that are going to power like the injectors and then coil pack, and then the other two are the fuel pump and then the fan. So yeah, the big four are split, but everything else is separate in terms of the actual control module. Well, let's talk about the elephant in the engine bay here. No intake. So, of course, we had the Kawasaki ZX14 Ninja intakes, which I still have it. This is a spare, but I still have them. They're currently in the UK because I have. Oh, hold on. Zoom. There we go. These things come with a secondary throttle blade in them. You can kind of see there's a hole. On our current set, I just drilled out the secondary blades. These control like air velocity and stuff for the bike, which we don't need. So I just drilled out the blades, but the rod was still in place, thus making, a not a blockage, but a hindrance to the airflow. And what we had was just a filter setup on top of it. But what Dan ST Engineering is doing is taking the top, decking this whole area, I think, and then welding a GT-IR plenum plate to it, so I can mount a GT-IR plenum. That's the Nissan Pulsar, depending on kind of where you're from. That way, I can use maybe that pod or that pod and draw in cold air. But that's also going to open the door for us to really easily use a turbo manifold for something in the future to maybe boost this motor up to 300 horse when I'm ready for it. But for now, it'll make the whole situation back there a little easier and let us get some cold air instead of just breathing from directly over like the exhaust and whatnot. So should be good. Well, we talked about the front. Let's talk about the back, because I got some new shiny bits back here. Well, two new shiny bits on the wing. These are end plates. The old ones were about that much thinner all the way around, just because I wanted a much more aggressive look to them. And I am developing a gurney flap for on the wing that is obviously going to mount in 3 different pieces. This is not the final design. I'm going to make some that are slightly taller, slightly shorter, and at varying angles, so that in the wind tunnel we can narrow down which one's the best for what we need. But these were just sized off the gurney flap that originally came with the wing. So if you're wondering how I got dimensions, that's why, or that's how. And yes, I know, before anyone comments, I know the wing is not going to be the most effective thing considering the power and shape of the car. That aerofoil, when that size, at about 100 miles an hour, it's about 115, 120 pounds of downforce. So, not a terrible amount, but I will say, on the final turn of Roebling, it does settle the back end a bit. So, it does something for what I need. It's not the best, obviously, but obviously this is not the final product. We're going to have much bigger wing and much, much more power in the future with the K-swap and whatnot. Which, now that I'm looking into something else, the K-swap's not the 100% option right now, because there is that 4-cylinder LS base motor that's bouncing around the interwebs currently. So that could be something to look into. Could be something that we just completely disregard because, the logistics of it. Most of the cost, but we'll see. But then again, a fully built K is going to be up there too. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But let me see. I'm casting around. Not a whole lot has been done aside from that. The wiring was just a massive, massive undertaking, and it is still a massive undertaking. In fact, over here, I had this whole table. The entire loom, the engine loom, and the body loom were just stretched from end to end. And it was quite an intimidating sight. Any connector that's not OEM is going to be a Deutsch connector. Pretty much anything not hooking to a sensor or something hard mounted to the door. Not door, Jesus. to the chassis is going to be a Deutsch connector. So we're doing that on the lights, the third brake light, the headlights, anything back here, the pump, everything else is going to be Deutsch. So it's going to be great. I even have some pretty crude wiring diagrams set up for it already. So hence kind of the pile of parts here. Ooh, almost forgot the new dash surround that we got for gauge clusters. That way I can do some tire pressure monitoring and maybe something else over there. But, you know, we got options there. And I need to do a patch panel for that. And in the future, I'm probably going to make a carbon hood. Not carbon hood. Well, I am going to make a carbon hood, but a carbon dash. But I'd probably want to get a spare just so I can putty over everything and make it all smooth. And then take a mold. So I'm not having to worry about, you know, all this different features and whatnot. And have this be not entirely separate from the body and whatnot. But just something more to the to-do list on top of the carbon wide body we haven't even started yet, but all things in time. I did get a what's it called, time lapse of me terminating the entire engine loom. So I'll put that at the end here as we wrap this up, just to roll the credits. And I think that about covers it. Oh, sunroof is actually also gone. And has been for a bit. I'm gonna 3D print, well, not 3D print, probably just do some send magic and get some brackets that'll mount to some ABS sheeting that I can then seal the hole with. So that's the plan for that. Not gonna 3D print a plug or anything fancy for it. Also not gonna rivet a aluminum panel to it because I don't want to damage the roof, because I do want to still take a mold of the roof if at all possible. But yeah, I think that's good. I think I've rambled enough. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. But again, I am going to try and commit to a video every 2 weeks, regardless of how long it's going to be. As long as there's been stuff happening, I'll make a video. If I go 2 weeks and there's no video, just nothing has happened. Either I'm waiting on parts, I'm waiting on the intake to get back, or I've been playing Helldivers 2 for the entire time, which, if I'm honest, has been the case since that game has released, because it has a grip on me. I love me some democracy spreading. But yeah, we'll leave off with that time lapse of me terminating the harness, and I'll see you in the next one.